Hello, hello, hello. Hey, Carmen.
Hey,
Hey,
Saran.
everybody. We are back in the building. Aren't we excited to be back? And y'all look at that little sexy muffin over there. I don't know. I don't know what happened, but I'm gonna have to go where she went so I can get some of that.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Don't make me blush. But yeah, I'm really, really excited to be back. We've been gone a long time, but nevertheless, we're here, back, ready to continue to share, continue to educate on, all things financial, right?
Yes, yes.
Um, this is important. This is and because we took a break does not mean that that this is not important or we're off doing something else. No, we are still doing the same things. We are still helping people. We're still helping middle America because even though we've gone for I think about 4 months we've been off of live. um the same problems exist, right?
Yeah,
People still need to understand how money works.
yeah, yeah. And that's the thing, right? And so we spend our time working with people all the time on these topics. And so I think it's fitting for us to come back in September, which is a huge financial month,
Yes.
Life Insurance Awareness Month. But even more importantly, it's time to get yourself and get your finances together. I mean, it's the fourth quarter, it's the beginning of the fourth quarter. We're 7 days in. You still have a chance to make it an amazing 2023. And
Yeah.
that's one of the things that, we really stress. We fall down. Time you fall, you can come back. And so, that's the important thing for us, especially with our money, especially with our ladies. We really look to you, to bring you inspiration and love and guidance, and to just kind of get you to a place where you know that you have support. Because a lot of times we're out here, we're grinding. We're getting up in the morning early, we're going to work, we're staying up late, we're going to the gym, we're feeding our kids, we're feeding other people's kids, we're feeding our grandkids, and we don't
And our
sometimes
parents.
and our parents, and we're not always taking the time to take care of ourselves. And one of the things we always talk about, as women, as especially as melanated women in the financial industry, is what is our financial future going to look like 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 50 years from now, depending on your age. How are we going to be taken care of? And so when we start talking about getting your financial house in order, we went with that topic as a comeback topic because it's the basics,
It
right?
is.
What does
It
your
is.
budget look like? Do you have a budgeting tool? If you do have a budgeting tool, let me move myself around. I'm a little crooked in the chair. If you do have a budgeting tool, are you using it? It's not something, and the budgeting tool is not something that you put together one time and set it aside and say, oh, I did that budget, it's done. The budgeting tool is more of a use it on a regular basis. You're going to use that budgeting tool every time you go to pay a bill, every time you get paid, every time you have an income, or before you get an income so that you can plan the money, and just making sure that you're going in the direction that you want to go in. And not having that, it can mean the difference between only earning simple interest and earning compound interest, right?
Oh
And
yes.
we know how inflation. Look, I don't even have to explain inflation anymore to people. I don't know about you. When I'm doing my presentations and workshops and events, I don't have to explain inflation. People know.
People understand. People understand
Hmm.
that they can buy, one third as much groceries than they could have just 3 years ago,
Yeah.
or they're paying 3 times as much. And although right now they're saying inflation is right about 3%, there's not one person in America that's telling you that it's feeling like it's 3% to them. You know.
No. No, not at all.
Absolutely not.
It feels like 20%. It
It really
feels
does.
like, spending $150 at the grocery store feels like I don't have enough food still.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And,
that's,
and that's
and that's
absolute.
madness, right?
Yeah.
So But that's the one thing that, we always talk about, and we've talked about this many times, right? We earn simple interest when we put our money in CDs, in the bank, and regular savings accounts. But we pay compound interest. And it should be the reverse. We should be earning compound interest and paying simple interest. But the bank, bank is really smart, right? The bank is really smart.
Dream world.
The bank is like, nah. We'll pay you simple interest, but we want to earn compound interest on top of each other.
And even if you could see that, even if they say you're earning compound interest, it is so little, right?
Mm-hmm.
At 0.005, less than 1%, way less than 1%. As a matter of fact, most of their high yield savings accounts are 0.5%, 0.05, less than 1%.
Well, there's a few banks that are giving like 3 or 4%. I'm not going to leave them, they're out there, but it's not going to last. It adjusts as you go. And so, and I have to say that because there are people who have these accounts and they understand that those accounts are earning it.
So but guess what?
Will revert back to the lower percentages at some point, because the reason those interest rates are going higher in some of those banks is to get you to put more money on deposit. So that they can loan that money out to other people at double, triple, quadruple the interest rate that they're paying you to hold that money in that account for a period of time. So there's method to the madness, if they're
right. And on that point, they are banks that are paying 3%. You can even get some 4%. But you go look, there are stipulations. You're not getting that on the lower balances type of accounts. There's stipulations, and most of those that are given that type of interest, which is barely at this point in time keeping up with inflation, what they said, you have to, like you said, put a big chunk of money down in a CD and typically can't touch it. 12 months, 18 months, 3 years. The longer it is, the higher it is. That's how come you get a little bit more return on your accounts. So
and it's lock-in, right? It's not just I'm gonna put my money here for 30 days. It's like, no, we need to hold this for 6 months. We need this for a year. We need this for 2 years.
Exactly.
We need to stay exactly here, because the collateral use of those funds for loaning money, for giving credit cards, for all the things that the bank does is dependent on them having a certain amount on deposit. And so that's the big thing. We don't learn enough about the bank. We don't know how it works. And so we thinking, oh, it's so nice of them to hold my money for me and give me interest. No,
right. They're actually depending on us to put that money so that they can loan 95% of that money out at super higher rates. Right. And we have to understand that and learn how to, basically we have to understand the rules of the game and learn how to play the game. Learn how to play those rules. We are not being anti-bank at all.
No, I got money in the bank, but I am strategic and smart about it, because I don't want the bank to just be earning money off my money. And don't get me wrong, we're all to an extent some type of commodity, right?
Right.
Because wherever you work, they're earning money, or they're making money, or they're doing something they're getting some value out of you and paying you a portion of that value. While it may not be equal, they are paying your portion, right? Mm-hmm. Or we're running a business and we are providing a product or a service that will earn us money. But even if especially if it's a product, we may have gotten that product sourced from somewhere else. So the food chain, there'll be some people getting paid. If you're providing a service that's of your own gifts and talents, to some extent, you may depend on resources that you bring in and pay to help you execute your business. Right. And so it's a cycle. It's a give and take cycle where we are working, earning money. And some of us are working and earning money, and other people are earning money off of our labor, gifts, and talents. The thing is that you should be earning money off your labor, gifts, and talents. And you shouldn't be the only thing employed in your house. Your money should also be employed.
Good point, right? Good point. If you have money that is lazy, that's what I gotta call it, lazy money, money that's just sitting there, you need to understand how you can put that money to work. And not one job. You need
Right,
to give your dollars more than one job, right?
right.
So, someone might be listening to us tonight and talk about lazy money, more than one job. How do I give my dollar more than one job? Well, I'm giving you an example of how it has one job. It has one job when you put it in a bank, in a savings account, right? And it's sitting there, not earning. The only thing it's doing is sitting, right? It's
Right.
lazing around. It's on vacation. It's just permanently.
You did not put the money on vacation.
permanently because it's not doing anything. So talk a little bit to the people about what does it mean to give your dollars more than one job. What are we talking
So
about?
the thing is that, and we've talked about this on multiple occasions. You can go back to the YouTube channel and watch some of the 45 videos that we've done, right? Um, are you just taking your money and going and buy a carton of milk, or are you taking your money, putting it in a safe place where it can earn interest, and you can still use a portion of that dollar towards buying milk, right? It's a super simple example. The other thing is your money protected? How are you protecting your funds to where you can use them now, you can use them in the future, and or you can have ways that money can come back to you as benefits for different types of services, for different types of protections, or even as cash, being able to recycle your dollar, right? We always hear the story of how our dollars on cycle back through the African American community, and part of it is, and I actually just made a post about this, is like we're not supporting each other's businesses. If my friend has a tax business, I want to go to try to support my business, try to bring my money to that person. If my friend is selling cupcakes and desserts and I need somebody to do desserts for an event, then they're going to be the first place that I'm going to go.
Right.
And I'm actually going to give my people a better chance or more opportunity than I do Walmart. And not to throw anybody out there, but if you've gone to somewhere or any type of retailer, they've pissed you off at least once, some way, shape, or fashion. But you haven't written them off forever. You haven't
Right.
said never going back there and I'm never buying anything from that store again, right? My current beef right now with most retailers is I don't want to check myself out.
Oh my God.
I don't work here.
Right.
Like, I don't want to go during the hours when nobody's working their register because I already had to go get the stuff from back there. Now you want me to ring it up, bag it, take it to my car. For all of that, I could just click online and order that. But the thing is that we got to get into the habit of finding ways to spend money in our community, and that doesn't mean you. And I'm by no means am I saying if you work with someone and they've been abusive or they've stolen or done something really egregious, right? I'm saying that if the customer service was slightly off, we'll figure out a way to work it out, right?
Right.
Or give them the feedback so that they can grow and become a better practitioner or servicer or whatever it is they're doing. But to really just kind of look at it in that way, because the thing is that the inflation, while they quote unquote, see my bunny ears, gotten it under control by giving us higher interest rates. Well, here's the deal. This is what I always think is hilarious is the people raising the interest rates are the ones who benefit from the interest rates. Because the biggest misconception is people think that the federal bank, the Federal Reserve Bank is a government entity.
Right.
The Federal Reserve Bank is the 12 presidents of the top banks of the United States making decisions for us. It is not the federal government. They're not some government agency getting paid. They're a private group brought together of the banks. Google it if you don't believe me. I mean, Google's your friend. Google's my friend sometimes. I mean, I got stocks, so go ahead and Google it, right?
Right.
But keep the stock going up. But it's the banks that are really controlling the money all the way around. And
All the
so
way around.
we think that there's some, people are led to believe there's some altruistic thing. And a lot of the stuff that's happening in the financial industry is simpler than it seems. But what happens is they overcomplicate it, they layer it with terms that are similar and throw it around to confuse us so that we just say, forget it. I'll just put it in the savings account. I'll just get a CD. I'll just get a money market account. I won't even do anything with this, right? And the thing is that the more we just kind of put these concepts in the back seat and don't try to challenge ourselves to figure some of these things out for ourselves, then the more they win, right? Now, I will say the newer generation I see are millennials and the Gen Y, and I forgot what the other one is, the ones that are turning 18. They are taking a little bit more interest in their finances and going after information just based on getting a little bit of tidbits from TikTok, or little tidbits from Instagram, or little tidbits from Snapchat, or the places that they're like, wait, I need to find out more about that. And they're really trying to figure out how to use these things to their advantages. And so, we're pushing, we want to support that. We want to support you in your growth. And we're trying to get our Gen X friends to come along. Let's get back in, right? Because our baby boomers, they retired and they got it together, right? We hope. But we don't want
some of us, because I'm a baby boomer.
Look, we don't want to be left behind, right? I know. Look,
I'm a boomer. For the most part, you're absolutely right. Baby boomers, all of us should be retired within the next 7 to 8 years.
Right.
Because I'm a boomer. I'm actually a boomerexer.
Yeah, because you're late. You're like,
I'm the very last year, and of baby boomers, and believe it or not, although baby boomers did have some retirement, they're suffering. Mm-hmm. Baby boomers, most of them are retiring with less than $100,000 to their name. And the thing about that is we're living longer. We're living into our 80s. Mm-hmm. We're living into our early 90s. And $100,000 is not going to go very far. And granted that taxes should be less. The problem is that many baby boomers, we still have student loans. So we still have the mortgage. We still have student loans. So it did not work out where we have a big pension fund, because we didn't understand how it really worked. We watched our parents, some of whom may also have been baby boomers, because that's the whitest generation, right? But they were able to retire and still keep their medical insurance. They were able to retire and still keep a big portion of their salary as a pension. Right. And they continue to support them until the end. Well, here comes the 80s, the early 80s, when the employers realize, hey, we're going to cast the wool over your eyes and make you think that you have control. And here came that 401k. And so we had some good years, and that money was growing. But we didn't understand that all that money was not ours. It wasn't like that it was guaranteed, like your pension was guaranteed. And some of that money belonged to the government. Basically, we didn't understand. They told us, hey, I'm going to let you run this. I'm going to let you be total control of it. But we didn't understand that they were going to come back 35, 40 years later and say, all right, now I let you use the money and do whatever. I let you take home more of it because you got to get a good tax break and stuff like that. Now it's time for you to pay. So even the people who were retiring with a quote unquote $1 million really realized that they were retiring with $650,000. Now, if you were retiring with $650,000, you didn't have that much debt. Yeah, you could probably make that last, barring what happened to us in the last 3 years. But retiring with $100,000, it is like crazy, because if you are making $50,000 a year and you're living on $50,000 a year, your money is going to last you 2 years. And that's the reason why we see people in the Walmarts and when they should be playing with their grandchildren. And that's where we come in. That's where I see us coming in, because we are able to have this conversation, which, by the way, was some kind of deadly secret. Don't talk about money, right? And so that people could understand, right? Just think about it. If we just look at, even if you were doing $10 a meal, which is pushing it, really? That's $30 a day. That's $150 a week, right?
That's $600 a month.
Say that again.
$600 a month.
$600 a month, and that's now $7,200 a year. Mm-hmm. Okay, and for 10 years, that's what, 72,000, mm-hmm. right? And multiply that by 3, because we're staying there for 30 years. We're talking about almost $200,000, and that's just for food. We didn't even talk about all the
$216,000.
$216,000. Y'all got my brain trying to do math, right? For food, and that's not taken into consideration that $10 of food this year, next year is going to be $13 of food if we kept, or something,
Well, and I like that conversation, right? Because I like to always ask people now when I'm doing, workshops, well, aren't you a millionaire? And most people are like, no, I'm not a millionaire. And then I say, hey, here's the deal. Let's do some math. How much do you make a year? Let's say they say 50,000 or they say 100,000. Those are easy numbers, so we're gonna go with those. Right. So the person who says, "Oh, I make $100,000 a year." Okay, great. Well, how long do you expect to work? How many more years do you think you have to work? 20 years? Yeah, 20 years. That's a basic Gen Xer. Or I have 30 years, right? So if you have between 20 and 30 years left to work, and you make $100,000 a year, you have another $2 million to $3 million to make. If you stay at $100,000 a year. Now, if your income goes up, then that number goes up. So when someone tells me they don't have $1 million, I wish I was a millionaire, I hope I hit the lotto so I can be a millionaire. Well, you already are. The problem is that you don't see it because it's being given to you in small increments, right? And it's compounding over time. Now, the thing is that what we have to do is learn to take control of those small increments so that we can compound it and snowball it to our benefit. Right. Because if we start teaching our children that from the time they start working, that you are a millionaire. We won't even say they should already be a millionaire by 18, because that's a whole other plan. But if they start working and earning money, even if they start in their teens and you get them on the right track with putting money aside and doing positive things with their money so that they're not spending it all, because social media and TV and everything is showing us that we must have all these things, all the things, then moving them from being consumers, right, to sellers or to controlling producers, right, and producers will change their lives. And what happens is most of us are taught to be consumers. I was taught to be a consumer. I wasn't taught to go and create whatever it is that I need and create the wealth first and then go after the things, right? It's a new thing. Now, I learned it late in life, but I'm definitely applying it now. And that really just kind of speaks to, where we go when we start talking about learning to use your money more than one time, because we have to really just grow in our thought process. And I think a lot of it is lack of action. I don't think it's lack of knowledge these days anymore, because there's so much information out there, or outformation. There's so many people putting out information that they're not taking action. What's happening is they're just becoming consumers of information. I mean, you're watching this video now, you're watching on a replay, but at some point, you're really just consuming the information, because if you haven't booked an appointment, if you haven't set up a time to meet with someone to review it, if you haven't taken action on a proposal or a program that has been presented to you, you're just consuming. And so you just continue to consume. The difference is you're not just consuming food and beverages, you're consuming information at higher rates than you used to. And now you just have so much in your head and in your mind and in your thoughts. It's giving you analysis paralysis, and you're maybe taking a harder time to make decisions. But I digress. We're here to really just move you into a place where we start talking about getting your financial house in order. And there's about 5 different areas of our financial budget that we like to talk about, Carmen. We like to talk about emergency savings. We like to talk about tax planning for your tax-free retirement. We like to talk about protecting yourself from long-term and short-term illness. We like to talk about some risk for some strategies for you to invest. And we definitely talk about life insurance. And those things are will put together a strong foundation for your financial house, right? Putting those things together is the foundation. Now, you didn't hear me say stocks and crypto and all that, because those things are outside of the foundation. I didn't say don't do them. They're not a part of the foundational strategy where you make sure everything is secure and protected and can grow and go forward. But those are the things that become your powerhouses and your safety net, if you will, so that you can just start going, as they say, ham, as I say, because I say it all the time. You can just start going really hard on these other areas, because you don't have any question on whether your foundation is protected. But, in those areas, I think I'm on the wrong device. I think it's about to die. But in those areas, Carmen, some of the things that, I love is when people say, well, what should I do first? What do you think are some of the first things we should be doing to build our financial house?
So good, very good topics. Good information basically that you're giving out here today. And like you said, Saran, people are being consumers of a lot of information. There's so much information out there, information on TikTok, Instagram, Clapper, Facebook, all over. And
Clubhouse, I forgot, that's your favorite.
Clubhouse. And we are on all those mediums too, and we are giving bits of information, but these information that you're listening to is typically generic. Right. It's generic, and it may not totally apply or be the best thing for you. And that's why we say to book an appointment with a financial service professional such as ourselves, so that we can look at where you are and get you into the right spot. So when we're talking about what's the basic, the foundation, the first thing to do, the basic is life insurance. Life insurance is actually, this month, September, is actually Life Insurance Awareness Month. And let me tell you why life insurance is the foundation, right? Because life insurance helps you to protect your income. It helps it to protect if you become ill well, some life insurance
Some.
that helps you to become, if you become ill, if you die prematurely, and if you live too long. Well, those are all the that's it, right?
Right, right.
And so, with your, when you start to work, if we're talking about the 18 to 25-year-olds that are now entering into the workplace, the very first thing to do is to protect you, protect your ability to earn an income. And specifically, if others are depending on you, you got to protect you. You got to protect that ability to earn an income. Well, what does that? Life insurance. Life insurance is what does that. And I'm going to tell you something else, though. I'm saying that that is the foundation. That is the number one, first thing to do, right? But, and I mentioned specifically for young adults.
Oh yeah.
But last week, and I'm going to do a live on this in a little bit because I don't like GoFundMe and things like because listen, it works. It works for some people. I saw a GoFundMe today with a mom that's dying, and she asked for $15,000, and the GoFundMe had over $600,000, right? I think it was 15,000, but it was a small amount that she asked for, just so that she could be buried in dignity and her children didn't have to struggle to do that. Well, she was able to get the endorsement of some celebrities that pushed that GoFundMe out, and she was able to get a lot of money. And I'm sitting there going, oh my God, I do hope someone can help her children to, one, never to be in that situation, but to use that money to help them now going forward. But I'm kind of jumping back because I was at a football game last week, and there was a child, a teenager, just the same age as my grandson, that got injured on the football field.
Oh, wow.
In regular play, not someone did a bad move on the other team or nothing, just in regular practice, that child was injured and is in a wheelchair. And I saw a GoFundMe for that child, and I said I'm going to do it and push it out on my platform as well, so that people could donate. But here is why life insurance is important. That child is alive. That was the very first game that he was able to come back, and he was on the field in his wheelchair, them wheeling him in. We lost that game, by the way. And I was not too unhappy that we lost that game, because they needed that win way more than we needed that win.
Right.
And but for that child, had the parents known or understood that if they'd gotten life insurance on that child, there probably wouldn't be a reason for them to even have a GoFundMe, even though the child is alive. Life insurance is not only about death. Now, that child becoming paralyzed is unable to do some of the activities of daily living, the things that we all take for granted: eating, bathing, clothing, transferring, and stuff like that.
Wait, so this teenager is now paralyzed?
This teenager is now paralyzed, and the parents are now asking for help with the medical expenses. Well, guess what, parents that are listening to me? If you had the proper life insurance policy on that child.
It's me. Sorry.
Okay.
Go ahead.
You got it. If you had the proper life insurance policy on that child, you would be that child's medical expenses could be taken care of, although he's not an adult working, right? And that's why we say life insurance and proper life insurance. Don't just listen to this generic information that's just popping out there. And we are not saying that we are the guru, the only gurus, but we know what we are talking about. So come talk to us. And let us make sure that even if you do have life insurance, is it the right kind of life insurance? Meaning, can you use it while you're alive? Can you use it can your child use it while he is alive? Can you and even if you wanted to put out a GoFundMe or someone put out a GoFundMe for you, wouldn't it be a blessing if you didn't have to do that? Because you could just make a phone call because your child is protected. So life insurance, yo, before the savings, emergency savings, life insurance. Before the short-term and long-term investments, life insurance, because that protects the money that's coming in to pay for all those other things.
And I love that, because I think the important thing is many of us don't know what we don't know, right? And having these things set up for us um, will just make all the difference in the world. And I love that, that's the foundation. September is Life Insurance Awareness Month. And nobody's telling you that you need to become a life insurance expert. But what you do need to become is an expert in protecting yourself.
Yes.
And I always say this on most of my videos: your number one job is to protect yourself spiritually, mentally, and financially. And so you have to make sure that certain things are in place to make sure that you are okay and that your family will be okay and those who depend on you will be okay. But the important thing is that we're back. We're back, we're back, we're back.
Yes,
And
we
we're going to
are.
be coming to you every other Thursday with more information. I know many of you have reached out to me individually, and I know Carmen has talked to people, and you are like excited about the student loan program and confused at the same time. And so, our next section, we're going to talk about it because there are so many great stories that are coming out, and then there are so many people who still need help. And so, we are going to be with you on the 21st of September, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that in detail. But be sure to stay tuned to our pages, to our group. Join the Millionaire Ladies Mob if you are not in there, and because we're going to be dropping some free games, some resources, some tools. You have access to us there. We're there most of the time, so that you can get ahead of the pending changes, so that you can be in the know, so you can get enough information to meet with one of us. And the important thing I want to say is this: as much information as we consume online, I'm a consumer too. I'm a YouTube girl. I watch all day long. But be sure to know that that is not individualized advice based on all of your circumstances. The other person on the other end of that video is giving you information based on their experience, based on people that they've worked with. And sometimes it's not even, it's just based on theory, right? Just depending on who you're watching. But be sure to take advantage of the offers to meet with people when they do offer, if they do offer free or low cost consultations, because those will be the things that will matter, because now you will talk to someone about your specifics and get a specific answer that is for you, and not the answer that is the general public answer. And I think that's one of the mistakes that we make with our finances and getting our financial house in order. And even as far as just using a budget template, every budget template ain't the same. And every budget template isn't for everyone. And there's thousands of them, thousands of ways to do it, right? And I said this recently on a podcast. I was working with someone. And the cool thing about it is sometimes we speak in limited belief and sometimes we speak in limitless belief. And back in the day, we used to always say, or we used to always hear, well, there's a will, there's a way. Well, there's a will, there's a way. The reality is that's a limited belief. Well, there's a will, there's infinite ways for
I like
whatever
that.
it is we're trying to do. And so
Yeah.
that's the same thing with some of our finances, and that's why the individualized meeting, the individualized talk is important, because there's infinite ways to do so many of the same things for each person. We're all different. So I say a lot to say we are really excited to be back. We will be here again in 2 weeks. So again, we've changed our schedule. We were weekly, which was it was a heavy lift, but we did it. We did it for nearly a year. But we're going to be bi-weekly, and we're going to be bringing you content. We have some potential speakers for next week to help bring you some of the data, especially around the. We miss you too, Sunita. She's in the comments, and especially around the student loan forgiveness and some of the benefits and some of the we made a post in a group the other week. There's also some benefits that people don't even realize if you don't work for one of the public student loan forgiveness employers that you can take advantage of if you work in corporate America or a private employer that just doesn't qualify, right? And but you have to be here to get the information.
Yes,
Send us
yes.
an email, Millionaire Ladies Mob at Gmail. Book an appointment with us, same email. You can come into our group, Millionaire Ladies Mob. But we are here to help guide you and get you to where you need to be. So don't mistake our live videos for individual advice at all.
Right. We're definitely providing educational advice and important, but it's educational. It's not specific to anyone until you speak with us. And we are Dutch when it comes to dealing with it. So you do want to talk with us. And it is important to speak with someone that you can vibe with, that can understand where you're coming from, and that's what we bring. And I'm excited to hear from some of our speakers that's coming forward, experts in student loan forgiveness, because that is that's the big albatross around many of our necks. And not everyone can take advantage of some of the strategies that we have for getting rid of debt. Because listen, we can get rid of debt for you in 7 to 9 years, right?
Yeah.
Regardless
In some cases, 3, depending on what you
the
got
type
going
of
on.
debt, right? And regardless of student loans, but not everyone is able to participate in some of or to use some of those strategies. But unless you talk to us, we don't know what can, or you don't know what can work best for you. And since we don't charge for you to find out, why not call us? Listen.
Right.
Do not sit here and consume this information by yourself. Share this information out to other people. You have 3,000 friends. Send it out. I know
Right.
Facebook I know that Facebook turns things down, but send it to the people you actually know. Say, hey, listen to these girls talk about student loans. Listen to these people talk about retirement planning, tax-free retirement planning. Listen to them talk about how not to run out of money during retirement. We just told you it's going to take you over $225 just to eat over the next 30 years. Let us show you where and how you get the rest so that you can go on maybe on a vacation, have fun with your grandchildren instead of being in front of Walmart. And you notice Walmart isn't trying to hire you anymore because Walmart decided that we could come shop there and work for them all at the same time for free. So
I'm getting off this live because I'm getting mad talking about my part-time job at the retail store.
who said that?
I'm not gonna hang up on you, but so that's
Yeah.
the thing. So again, we are the Millionaire Ladies Mob. I am Saran Baker. You can reach me at saran10k.com, and you can reach all of us at Millionaire Ladies Mob at Gmail or millionaireLadiesMob.com. It has all of our contact information. And you are
I'm Carmen K. Bernard. You can reach me at carmen10k.com. Don't let her get away so fast. Listen, come with your birthday wishes. When we come back, it's going to be her birthday. Listen, do you remember the 21st day of September? Okay, I can't sing.
Look, the party's the next day, so I figured I might as well work.
But come on and Join us in 2 weeks as we talk about the good, the bad, the good, the great, and the better. Something like that. Student loans.
Yes, indeed.
All right, Carmen,
We
take
are
care. It was great being back. Good talking to you, Queen. We haven't been on for a good while, so it's great being back. Sinitra, we want to thank you. Thank you so much for sharing this information out, Sinitra. And we will see you guys soon.
Bye.